how we solved it. Now, you can take what I say for face value, or you can tweak it however you need to be tweaked. But especially this younger generations and people you may know, it is best to go off of experience. But also, if you're going to ever see a problem in life, always make sure you have a solution behind it.
Well, this kind of goes piggybacks off the conversation that we was having yesterday on King's Talk. If men and women individually, you should have some type of uh, mentor when you get engaged as a couple. You should have a mentor as in a relationship with a married couple. Your support system. We're now so individualized that we don't want to have the conversations. We don't want to go out and search for someone to be able to reach out to get this information from. It when you change your circle, these conversations are damn near normal. Like this. But if you're only around people that has this toxic concept, and they have conversations how we see with Michelle and Ross, it's like, you look who you're getting your information from, so you're only going to regurgitate that. So I think that there's plenty of people that's telling you, man, hey, look, marriage is tough. I've heard that my entire life. Marriage is tough. It's work. It's not easy. It's not going to be peaches and cream every day.
I think that you guys are dismissing what Coel is trying to convey. What I heard from what he said, because you guys all made valid points, is that there's not enough detail in laying the landscape of what you may endure. I've been around married couples my whole life. I can overwhelmingly tell you they put up a facade, and then months or years later they're divorced and nobody know why, because there's not enough of transparency being told that, yes, you're gonna wake up some days you ain't gonna like that person. You're gonna have, when you have kids, it's gonna shift, the sex may diminish, whatever. Our community's not that honest, and I think we need to be a little bit more honest. We like
so true. You've never heard that. The two things you just said, you've never heard that before.
I've never heard those things. No, I've never heard them. I've the privilege I've had of knowing what goes on sometimes in these relationships is that my mom and dad do marriage counseling and whatnot, and they'll convey to me that these couples are battling these demons or whatever. But the couples, you would never know anything is going on because they're not transparent like that. There's a lot of pride we present. Yes, you'll hear marriage is hard. You'll hear marriage takes work. That's about it.
The two things that you just stated, I've heard that countless of times.
What? That marriage is hard and that marriage takes work?
No, when kids are involved, the sex will start going down the drain.
That's still vague.
Some days you'll wake up and you'll hate this mark. Like that.
But nobody is saying, hey,
y'all keep saying, hey, what do you want to know? If how many times you getting it a week? Is that what you want?
I'm about to give you an example. No woman is telling these ladies, hey, my husband cheated on me 10 times 15 years ago, and we're happy now 15 years later. No man is telling young men that, hey, my wife cheated on me.
Bro, right? You need to change your circle, bro.
What do you, bro? I'm talking. Listen, at the same time, it's no one's business. It's no one's business.
Hold on. If that's what you just said, Kelly, if that's the point, then don't tell nobody when it's good.
What I'm saying is, no. If you are we're gonna place it.
Hold on, y'all. One mic. We talking to each other. We can't hear each other, y'all.
I'm about to be finished. And then to Viz's point, damn. Go ahead, man. My bad.
Yeah, you lost it. I got you, buddy. I got you. So,
hold on.
I've shared many a time.
Hold on one second. Let me go to get Mistaken in there because Mistaken haven't said nothing. Then I'll come back to you.
I think going back to the question, it has something to do with shaming women into prioritizing marriage, something along those lines. one of the things, especially after listening to everyone speak and just kind of thinking about language and how we speak. And one of the things that I noticed, and I'm gonna just say Black community, just because I'm not in other communities like that to really speak on it, right? Is that and I had to write this down, so why do we tend to lean to negative language to shape behavior, or negative actions to shape behavior, right? So instead of shaming women, why aren't we encouraging women, right? Because those are going to yield two different outcomes in the way that the message is being told or sold, should I say. So when you encourage a woman to do it, to be married, it's more along the lines of you're teaching them to value it, right? So teaching them to value marriage has a whole different mindset than trying to shame them into doing something, because ultimately what it's doing is it actually impact their own self-value, thinking that they have to be tied to a man in order to be valued, right? To have some value. So that was something that I thought about. And then I just thought that the method matters just as much as the message. So when we look at behavior, just in general, shaping behavior, yes, you can shape behavior with negative actions, but a lot of times those negative actions multiply into something else that's negative, right? And I think that's why now we see all of the toxic interactions that we have with each other in just communicating and talking, because it's such negative language that we have a tendency to use, and we've grown accustomed to that. So I think in order to value something, you need to present it as valuable. So that was all I kind of wanted to say about that, because sitting back and kind of listening, which I'm learning to do more of um, in these spaces, and I'm here seeing that my ears being tuned a whole different way by just listening, right? And that's kind of every single question that was answered a lot of time or asked, that the initial answer always started with something negative. And I think we need to be more mindful of how we say what we say, because it does matter. That's it.